Welcome to the midweek edition of Racing to Win. Something a little bit different too on this midweek edition of the show, because at Sha Tin on Wednesday night, no Happy Valley until Sunday, so a switcheroo. But the boys are still here to preview it all. Paul Ellie and Tom Wood. And Tom, all of your all-weather favourites are there. Your Acker Powers, your Regent Glory, your Super Wind Dragons, amongst others. But no Adderfield.
No Adderfield, considering he's an all-weather specialist. They're keeping his powder dry for another day. But a good meeting coming up. We've got the likes of Talent's Ambition. Mark Newnham on record saying that they're potentially looking at a 4-year-old series birth with him. They're trying to get his rating up off 71, and he was pretty good last time out, first up the 1200. So the extra trip should be down to the ground for him.
Absolutely. Paul, he's always been a horse you've had time for, the grey, since he arrived, Talent.
Yeah, definitely. Like, he came from the Tamworth form, didn't he? So not the usual route to Hong Kong, but he's done very well since he's been here. A couple of good jackpots, 2.4 million going into the triple trio. That should get up over the 5 million mark, and 500,000 in the 6-up win bonus. So that should get up over the 3 million mark.
Boys, before we move on, let's go backwards first of all to the Premier Bowl on the weekend, Tom. This was some performance by Kaying Rising. Sacred Kingdom is lucky to still hold the track record.
He certainly is. This horse here, Kaying Rising, was only 0.07 outside his course record for the 1200 metres on a comparative surface as well, because when he did that Sacred Kingdom, it was good to firm. Now he's gone up from a rating here of 119 to 127, which puts him right in the top echelon here in terms of horses in Hong Kong, and it was effortless again, Paul.
He won so well, didn't he? It was such a good win, and he's going to be a raging favourite for the sprint already in December. Some people have got him past the post already.
They have indeed. He's a horse, Paul, that has done everything that David Hayes has asked of him. Hasn't tangled with Lucky Swayness yet, though. No,
he hasn't. We haven't seen Lucky Swayness, of course. He hasn't come back. And look, the only horse I think they could possibly give him a race out of the ones we saw there is California Spangle, because he had to give him weight, and we'll meet on set weights, and Spangle will be fitter.
Yeah, when they come back to those level weights again, the run of the race outside of Kaying Rising had to be Helios Express with what he did. He relaxed beautifully, got the tempo to suit. He was the quickest 8.64 200 all day at Sha Tin. He was home his last 600, 32.3, so he was absolutely low flying.
And should get better as he goes further.
Absolutely, and when they get up to a mile with him, maybe a little bit further, as long as he can relax, Paul, that's the key, I think.
Yeah, it is the key. I mean, look, he's a very good sprinter. We've seen that, and obviously he 1,400 metres, 1,600 metres, we're not sure what his right distance is.
Absolutely, won the first 2 legs of the 4-year-old series last season. So I've gone back to start the show, Paul. We're going to go back even further now to continue the show. There's been a number of all-weather races at Sha Tin this season, but not enough to get a gauge on who's done what. But this is what happened last year on the all-weather track.
Yeah, like Karis Teaton, he always rides the track well, and he's a lightweight, so those light-weighted runners normally go pretty well. I mean, Zach's stats will be there on all surfaces. Brendan Abdullah did pretty well there as well, and Matthew Chadwick. So, but Karis sort of stood out there, and I think that's because he can ride those real lightweights.
And we know from meeting to meeting, even race to race, some days with the all-weather it can race different. It certainly can race different under lights. We've had quite a dry spell here in Hong Kong, so the track should be fairly powdery for tomorrow night's meeting, which, it all depends how the track has been prepared, and if there's been rain on the day, rain in the morning, but it looks like it'll be dry for tomorrow night.
Absolutely. There's the trainers, John Sires, last season's all-weather leading trainer. You saw Matthew Chadwick on the first page there too. He has been passed fit to ride on Wednesday night, which is good news after that spill in the last on Sunday. Sha Tin meeting details. We see a sunset at Sha Tin. It's 8 on the all-weather for meeting number 14 of the season. 7.15 the first, we go through to the 2 Class 3s, races 7 and 8, which we will preview right here on the show, starting with the 7th. It's a Class 3 over the 1,650 metres. Patchy Pass has the cheek pieces off and the blinkers going back on. Chura Mascot has placed both times, course and distance. Perfect Team is minus the hood. Talent's Ambition steps up from the 12 to the 1,650. Won over that trip when he last raced over it 2 starts ago. Young Brilliant first up. He was a winner last time over the 1,650 at the back end weekend of last campaign. Good luck, Babe, as a newcomer to racing in Hong Kong. Won over 1,600 at Hawkesbury when known as I Am Breathing. And down the bottom, Satirical Fan and Super Love Dragon Pool comes to the surface for the first time. Who is our leader?
Well, there's two, Satirical Fan and Massive Action, and they're both ridden by apprentices as well. We've got Massive Action with Angus and Satirical Fan with Brittany Wong. So there is a danger those two could take each other on in this race because they're both one-dimensional and they both like to lead. So we'll see what happens with those two. I thought Toy Soltero coming onto the surface will get a nice run with Apache Pass. Young, brilliant, Talent's Ambition should get his opportunity.
Possible youthful exuberance.
Correct.
Up front, but that's the speed. Matt, hasn't this man hit the ground running? Mark Newnham is his name. Nick spoke to Mark Ree, the grey Talent's Ambition.
Mark Noonan, Talent's Ambition is a runner for you at this all-weather fixture, and he set a few tongues wagging with a recent trial win. You must have been pleased with how he trialled.
Yeah, look, he's shown a good liking for the all-weather, so I would expect that he would trial well. And at the back end of last season, he put two really good performances together, one on the turf, and then he backed it up with a dominant win, in the same grade.
Started him off over 12, ran a mighty race. I know he was a beaten favourite, but that aside, he was only a half a length behind Super Wind Dragon, so a nice return.
Yeah, especially at an unsuitable distance, but instead of trialling him again, the race was there for him, so I was pleased the way he closed off, probably even a little better than I expected over 1,200, but now he steps back to the 1,650 with the trial in between. It looks a good formula for success.
How much, in your mind, has he sort of sharpened up for that first run back? I mean, he's still a relatively lightly raced horse, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely, and he's got a lot stronger, mentally and physically, since last season. He started to mature well towards the back end last season, but you can see a noticeable difference and feel a difference in him. I ride him quite a bit of work, and he knows his job now. He's a lot more relaxed through the early stages of his work and knows when to start picking up. And Harry noticed that difference in his race the other day and in his trial subsequent.
As for the form of the stable, Mark, obviously they're going great guns, another couple of winners across the weekend, so obviously you're hoping that form continues into Wednesday night as well, but you must be delighted with the way things are going. Yeah,
no, things are going really well. We've got a good team of people, as in staff, good group of owners and a nice group of horses. So, we've got a couple of good systems in place. The winners are coming from both stables in Chung Fa and out of Sha Tin. So, it's all gelling well.
We'll talk more about Mark's stats to start the season shortly. Paul, you've been salivating since the entries came out about this horse, but what price is he going to be? Well,
that's the thing. Well, there is Turin Mascot in the race with Zach aboard, so he's going to take money for sure in the race, and he's a legitimate chance. There's a couple others down the bottom there I don't mind as well. But look, he's 1 for 1 over the course and distance. He's come with this Tamworth form, and it's a little bit iffy at start, but he always showed he had plenty of ability when he got here.
Yeah, certainly has. And look, he wasn't, he got home the quickest sectional last time out as well, 21.89, and then his last 600 was 33.3, so he's playing the right sort of tune on the banjo at the moment.
He is indeed. I see what he did there with the Tamworth connection. Very, very good. A lot of country folk up there in the country music capital of Australia. Mark Newnham, what a start, Tom.
Unbelievable for Mark. He's picked the right sort of horses to attack these early season races, and he's been on record saying you want to have some horses to fire up in the early part of the season, but you also need to have that second division of horses coming through to get you through the middle part of the season. He's got Super Charizard, who's coming onto the all-weather for the first time. He's been a bit disappointing. I think Always Fluke, some sort of a chance off his recent trial. So Treasure ran well in a blanket finish last time out. Talent's Ambition, I think 1 for all. Paul's looking for something a little easier and probably back at Happy Valley as well.
Yeah, a lot of speed in that last race as well, so he's not going to get his own way. He's better when he sort of bosses from the front.
That is Mark Newnham. This is some of the opposition to Talent's Ambition, Paul, and we start with Turin Mascot, who's done a good job in limited starts on the all-weather. 2 starts, 2 placings. Patchy passes on the class drop, but as Tom pointed out on the show last time, long time since he's won.
Yeah, it is for him, so I don't know exactly where he's at the moment. But it was a really good run from Turin Mascot here. We know he's a quality horse as well. He's got Zach Purton aboard. He's drawn nicely in barrier 6. Pierre talk about Mark Newnham going well. Pierre's absolutely flying as well. So, look, he's a major chance in this race.
He certainly is, the son of Caravaggio. We've got to do a bit of a bumping duel with the Capital Delight at about the 350, but you talk about Pierre and Zach. Well, Pierre's had 12 winners and 5 of them have been ridden by Zach.
That's a very good combination they have struck up. Here's Super Love Dragon. Tom, we can't show all-weather form for this horse because he hasn't run on the surface before, but he comes out of this race where they went like rockets up front.
Yeah, they went really quick here, and he's going to get an opportunity. Just needs a little bit of luck, one would say, from barrier number 12. He was probably a little worse than midfield this day, but out of this race, Winning Dragon's actually come out of this and won over the 2,000 metres. So the form's been franked. He's slowly getting there, Paul.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's got really good breeding for this as well. He's got the American breeding game through the dam side. So like, I think he'll handle it, and he's got a light weight. I think he's a big chance.
It's a good report for Super Love Dragon. Super Wind Dragon runs in the last. Now, this is Happy Valley form. Paul, Satirical Fan and Toy Saltero down the track. Fighting Machine is racing well. Alexi Bedell and Pierre Rung makes his all-weather debut this week too.
Yeah, so he's another one that, again, has got some American breeding through the dam side. Look, I'm going to keep him safe. I'm going to throw him in the numbers. Again, he's got an awkward draw, but look, if these two go a bit silly up front, and he's going to be finishing off strongly.
Yeah, he's right on the cusp of making the top 4, and look, his run here was pretty good, but is going to need a little bit of luck, and if the pace is on, as Paul suggested, that'll suit, but just didn't quite find a spot from this time round.
And that was Fighting Machine. This is Perfect Team, Tom. He's run 7th in a Chung Fa trial since his first up performance. His last 2 have been on the turf on race day, but he performs better on the surface on Wednesday night.
He's got a £7 claim here. He's only 1 from 19, so he's not exactly been overly prolific. He was at the back. He made up a bit of ground behind Star Contact last time out. Here's the trial, and of course winning this trial was, of course, Kaying Rising, but he's not been overly prolific, Paul, so probably one that needs to be taken on trust.
Yeah, a little bit. Look, I'm happy to watch him in this. He does get the claim, which will help him.
Let's look at some of the runners in the second last. Paul, does the Tamworth Tornado beat them all?
I think he does, actually. I do like him, and he's found the right race, I think. So he's on top. Look, Super Love Dragon will be finishing off strongly. Turin Mascot, he'll know he's been to the races, though, Talent's Ambition. He's no sure thing. But 5 to beat 12 and 2, and then Fighting Machine. Another one who's a bit unknown on the surface, but has got a really good term of thought. I think 5 will win, but it'll be a good race. 5, 12, 2, 7.
Yeah, 5 on top for me as well. Talent's Ambition for Mark Newnham and Harry Bentley. If they've got Classic Series on the radar, I think he should be winning this off this rating of 71, and it was a top effort over the 1200 first up at a trip that's not totally suitable for him. Turin Mascot, I think one of his main dangers. I'm actually going to throw in Young Brilliant here. His trial behind Massive Sovereign was good. He's won first up. He's 1 for 1 course and distance. Jerry Chow rides for Dinner Ship, and had a good battle with G-Liner last time. He was presented back on the 23rd of June, and Super Love Dragon, the other one that makes it in as well. 5, 2, 8 and 12.
And the boys both with Talent's Ambition in race 7, horse number 5. We'll take a break and see if they keep playing nice right after this. Welcome back. This is Racing to Win as we make our way through Sha Tin on Wednesday night. Firstly, though, before looking at race number 8, Paul, it's time for the last run reminder. And this horse was a big performance last time.
First time he sort of produced something, isn't he? He's in the cellar grade now, and this is his 4th start in Class 5. And look, surely he's due here. He drew really wide here in this particular race. Now, he has trialled well on the surface in the past as well. And coming on to this, this was his first go on the all-weather. You can see him wide there. They went slow as well. He tried to tuck in. He can sit wide on this all-weather track and still win. So he ended up being wide the whole way, but he just ran on really nicely. So I think he's a horse that's suited by the all-weather surface. He's by Lean Mean Machine, a reduced choice mare. And you can see him finishing off strongly. So, look, I think a win's due for him. And I think it could happen on Wednesday night. And you can see he wasn't beaten by much in the end, and he did finish off strongly to the line. So a nice run from him. Mead Choi has been known in the past to get the odd dirt horse ready.
Yes, it's quite a similar field this week too. The winner has gone up in grade.
Yeah, he has. So, yeah, very, very similar. So, as such, I think he can easily win.
There it is. It is race 2, number 5, Volcanus, the last run reminder for Paul for Wednesday night's meeting. Final race on the program. Race number 8 has Capital Delight on the class drop. and he's a 3-time winner in this grade. Victory moments last 2 has been on the turf, but been racing well on the all-weather prior to that. Super Wind Dragon goes up £4 for his last start win. He's now a 5-time winner over the 1200 metres. Packing Bowls won a trial since his last start. Self-Improvement is a horse that's going to be ridden by Brenton Avdulla for Manfred Mann. Must Go is a 2-time course and distance winner, but they have been down in grade. And we go down to Sky Forever, who resumed on the turf, switches back to his preferred all-weather for this. Hong Kong Hall is the leader here, Paul. There's quite a bit of pace in this race, though.
A lot of pace in it. He likes to go forward. Packing Bowl as an out-and-out leader. Alpha One led all the way down to 1,000 last time. All for One likes to lead. Carrying Chair's got the £10 claim. Self-Improvement likes to go forward. Any one of those 6 horses could lead this race. I think Hong Kong Hall's got the superior speed, though. We've seen that on the all-weather, and he's led in his last 5 or 6 starts. But it's going to be all on for one and old early, I think.
It will indeed. One horse that on that speed map won't be taking part in that, and buried on the rail is Super Wind Dragon. He's looking for back-to-back wins. Nick with his jockey, Zach Burton.
Zach, Super Wind Dragon looks a decent ride on Wednesday night on the all-weather, and he was pretty good last time when you rode him.
He was very good. He goes well fresh. He'd been prepped for the race. He just got himself into the right spot, but he did a good job.
You mentioned the fresh record. He's arguably as good second up, and obviously this is his second up run. So I guess the confidence levels can certainly be high in a race of this nature.
Yeah, he's had a trial in Trong Pha recently, and to be honest, his trial wasn't as good as what it was going into his first run, but it's a bit of a different surface up there, so we won't worry too much about it. He's drawn well. Hopefully he gets out the gates and just gets into a nice rhythm again and acquits himself well.
Given sort of where he sits in the run, obviously he's relatively prominent. 2 certainly is a good place to be, do you think?
Certainly, yeah, on the dirt, if you've got speed and you're within striking distance, it can certainly help.
I know he's a 7-year-old now, but he's got ticks in all the right boxes. I mean, his turf form's non-existent. All-weather is what he is. 5 times course and distance winner. There's just plenty going for him, really, isn't there?
Yeah, well, this is what he likes, so he's got what he wants, and he's going to have to try and deliver again.
You got what you wanted on the weekend as far as the Group 2 was concerned. Just reflecting on that, Kai Ying Rising, I know we spoke very briefly after the race, but just on that performance, I mean, it was just top draw, wasn't it, really?
He's not going to perform better than that, really, is he? If he can just turn up in that same form all the time, then we'll be pretty happy with that. But he just seems to be taking another step all the time, and you know, it's exciting that he's still only early in his 4-year-old year, and he's got everything ahead of him, and you know, he's just a pleasure to be on the back of.
Zach Burton there. We can talk more about Super Wind Dragon, Paul, because we're going to see that trial that Zach mentioned in the interview. Packing Bowl wins it, Super Wind Dragon 3rd, and Self-Improvement runs a 2nd.
Yeah, so look, as Zach said, it wasn't... he was pushed out a little bit towards the end of this trial. Now, Packing Bowl was a rival in the race, as is Self-Improvement, and they've got speed. Hong Kong Hall's got speed. Alpha One's got speed. So I don't know if Barrier 2 is totally a good barrier draw for this horse. If he jumps out and sort of can cross Carrying Chair, who's got 1, and that's got the apprentice claim as well. But look, I'm going to include him because this is his go. It's 1,200 metres on the dirt.
Well, I think he's going to have to be careful to not have one of these horses that go forward, fall back at his lap coming around the home turn, because there's the strong possibility of that happening with him as well, Super Wind Dragon. On Packing Bowl, I was concerned he was carrying a bit of condition last time out, and he's not actually dropped any weight, so that worries me a little bit as well.
That's that trial. Now, here is Alpha One winning, Tom. This is over 1,000 metres down the straight. He's trialled okay on the surface, goes up £4 for it. Drawn 10, but there's another one that is likely going to be in this speed battle.
Yeah, I'm not overly keen on him here. He's obviously still a full horse, 17 days on since this win, and of course he beat Celestial Colours here, and there were a few others that ran okay in the race without getting carried away. Fast Network, of course, was quite unlucky there, so I'm just happy to watch him here with that other pace in the race.
Yeah, definitely, and that was 1,000. He's got to step up to 1,200, and he just held on there, didn't he?
3 to look at in this one too, Paul. We've got Sky Forever, who's in the last 2 or 3 at this stage. Must Go 6th, and Hong Kong Hall. We'll talk more about him shortly because we're going to show his trial before this race, which was on the dirt. What of the other 2?
Huge run here from Sky Forever. I mean, look, he ran 4th in this race, and he's not known on the surface at all. He comes back onto his favoured surface now with a lightweight, all this pace in the race. I'm definitely going to include him. I think he can run a good race, and you can see him finishing off really strongly here. And this was quite a strong form race.
Yeah, he was right on the cusp to going, but he's only a two-time winner from 29, so he's not exactly been prolific through his career.
Now, this is before that race, Tom. This is Hong Kong Hall on the all-weather. So the turf run, he was down the track in. His recent racing at the end of the last prep was on this surface. He was in good form, but again, he's going to be up on the hot pace.
And he's carrying a further 3 pounds than what he was carrying last time out, Hong Kong Hall, and he wanted to fire up and over race up on the pace. I think there's a few things against him here as well, Paul, to be honest.
Yeah, look, I don't include him in the end. He'll give you a good sight, though. He's quite an honest horse, is Hong Kong Hall. And look, but there's just all that pace in the road. If they leave him alone, then he can do that, but I don't think they will.
And if it's one of those tracks where they can't be caught off the front and they're down on the inside, that could suit him, and they're not making ground from the back, but that remains to be seen if it's going to be that way or not.
It does indeed. Little few permutations to get through before we get to Hong Kong Hall, leading in the last, Paul, but have you gone for a swooper?
I have. Look, I'm going to go for one we haven't talked about, and he'll be a massive price. Heroic Master. Now, I'll explain all when I do show the long shot video with him. But he's the one on top. Sky Forever from the back. Capital Delight, he's back to 1200. That really suits him. And Super Wind Dragon, 8, 12, 1 and 4.
Yeah, I'm happy to still go with Super Wind Dragon here. He's only going up £4 for that last start victory with all the pace in the race. He just wants to be careful, I'd say, just to have not something come back on him around the top turn there. But I think he can win again. Capital Delight is in 1650, was not his go last time out. Back to 12, that's a big positive for him. Of course, Chased Home Sword Point. Packing Bowl is in off that trial, but hopefully he's just tightened up a little bit after that last start effort. And Victory Moments is one I'd want to include as well, because I think he's better suited here, and if he's back with all this pace on, that certainly could suit him. He didn't do too much on the turf in his last couple of starts. 4, 1, 5 and 2.
And that has been the preview for race number 8. A reminder, all of the races are on the website hkjc.com. Click on audio and video. Paul, can you give us your best bet and expand a bit more on Heroic Master too, please?
Yeah, definitely. Look, I'm going to go with Talent's Ambition as the best, but he won't be paying too much, hopefully 220, something around that mark, but I think he can easily win that race. Now, Heroic Master is the play here. Now, this is his last start. This was at Happy Valley on the turf. Now, he's got American breeding through him, and he said one trial. You have to go back 2 years for that trial on the all-weather, and that was back on the 5th of July 2022, and he won that trial really impressively, I thought. So the way he sort of finished off strongly here, and with the all-weather breeding, we'll take a chance on him at a massive price. We'll do the play in race 6 with 1, 8 and 11, Golden Long, Holy Power, and Cosmo Navigator.
Best comes up in race number 4. It's number 1, Galvanic for Casper Founds and to Hugh Bowman now. Well, this is his last performance here at Sha Tin. Of course, it was in Class 3. Savvy Brilliant won this race. Super Infinity, the horse that is just behind him here towards the outside next to Captain Win, of course, ran well again at the weekend, but comes out of a much stronger race than he meets. And of course, in distance, he's had 2 starts for a win and a second placing, and Hugh Bowman jumps back aboard as well. So I think he's ready to do something back on the dirt. The value is miles away now. He's the son of Justifier, who's always trialled well on this service. He'll be a genuine big price. Matthew Chadwick rides for Pierre Ung, and the play with Bowser. Fun and fun together on the surface for the first time, and always fluked from a new stable.
Only You, race 3, number 3, goes up to the 1650 for the first time. Races well from a low draw in this grade. Jerry Chow and Benno Jung, the combination. Sky Forever, who we saw not too long ago, is the value. Race 8, number 12, Keith Young for Manfred Man. And the play, sounds like the Music Man's got a new CD too over the top of the long shots and best bets and play of the day. Capital Delight, Super Wind Dragon and Sky Forever. Race 8, 1, 4 and 12 in a QQP. That has been Racing to Win, Tom. Interesting look at the diary because it's a switcheroo Wednesday to Sunday.
Yes, there is a typhoon around at the moment, so we'll have to keep an eye on that. But gorgeous wind going to Happy Valley for the first time, and the Cairns Flyer, Paul, he's steaming back to Happy Valley.
Yeah, Tomodachi Kokoro, look forward to seeing him. And Lucky Encounter trialled really well at the Valley before his last start and ran on well. He's one I'll be interested in that race.
A lot of first starters too that have raced overseas at the meeting.
Yeah, there are. There are a lot of them. So we'll have to have a look, pour through the trials.
Which you can do on the website. Thanks, boys. We'll see you later in the week, and we'll see you at Sha Tin on Wednesday night for the all-weather meeting. The first of 8 gets underway at 7:15.